Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And this evening I'll be reviewing the Amicus anthology of Vault of Horror. I was like paused for a second. I was like, which one am I doing? Tales from the Crypt or that? I think I've already done Tales from the Crypt already. So Vault of Horror. So this one we have 5 tales. So the wraparound kind of story. So the first bit, how we meet everyone. They're in a tower block and they're in an elevator, and the elevator is going down, goes down, 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 all the way down, lower than anyone actually pressed. And it comes to this room. And it has these seats and these drinks laid out. So what do? Rather than going back up the elevator, you sit and you chat about random things. So the first story, I noted these down, Midnight Mess. So yeah, we have this Harold Rogers who is trying to track down his sister because they're, I think it's their mother or father, one of them, has actually died, and the sister, or maybe both of them, are going to get a large inheritance, but through greed he wants it all, or he has to kill her to get the share, or whatever it is. But he manages to track her down in this rather strange village. Yeah, it's really odd. Like he wants to have some dinner, and they're closing at 5:30 before it gets dark, and it's like, it's really strange. What restaurant closes at that time? And there's someone on the street that's also telling him you need to get off the street before it gets dark. It's, I don't know, strange. But then he actually goes to his sister's place, finds her, kills her. And then what do you do after that? He's hungry. So the restaurant that he couldn't go in before is now open. So he goes in there, and yes, like the waiter says, this kind of menu that's already done for him, a la carte menu sort of thing. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. He's having a soup, and it's like, ugh, it just tastes horrible, and he's like drinking bits and pieces. So it tastes weird, all this tomato stuff. And then it's when they're talking about the clots. And it's like, clots? What clots? And then the waiter's like, the blood clots, sir. He spits his soup out because he realises it's blood. And then that's when the waiter knows that something's up, so he pulls these big blinds and they open up. There's this huge mirror, and of course you can only see him. Everyone in there is vampires, sorry. And it's quite interesting at the end. They're draining him of his blood, and his sister's there with a nice glass, and she's very happy to be there. Obviously she wasn't killed, she's a vampire. And yeah, that's the end of that one. Strange little thing. The next one, The Neat Job, and that was with Terry Thomas. So this is this neat freak, and he's quite getting on in his age, and he has been like a bachelor for a very, very, very long time. So he has everything in his house exactly how he wants it. Exactly, everything has its place. Everything has its he knows where everything is without looking. And then it's his name is Arthur, her name is Eleanor. Yeah, so he actually starts, he's going to be married to Eleanor, his daughter of one of his friends. I notice when you see these older films from the 60s and 70s, you have quite an old guy and quite a young girl, and it's fine, it's normal for that time. Obviously it's really, really strange, but anyway, it's she's not that young, but she's younger than him, and she's messing up, and then she's just mistake after mistake, and she's getting more and more freaked out. And in the end, I won't get into the details. These are really good segments. This is one of my favourite ones, but she just snaps at the end, an old hammer to the head, and then dismembers him and has him in countless jars. And yeah, it's quite amusing, that one. And the next one written down is This Trick'll Kill You. This was another really good one actually. So it's this magician. Well, it's not really a magician. It's yeah, I suppose you call them magicians. It's like, yeah, you get magicians, don't you? They don't know magic. That was all about tricks. But he's very good at finding out how tricks are done. And there's this one was this woman. She's got the rope. It's like a snake in a basket. She plays the instrument, some sort of flute, and it rises up. And he can't figure out what it is, and he's desperate to have this in his act, so he wants to pay her. She just not want to sell it. It's like, this is a family secret. I don't want to sell it, like this is my family thing. And so he gets her to come back to the apartment where he's there with his wife, and he basically kills her. And then he takes the flute thing and starts playing it, and it makes the rope go up, and his wife, she's like, oh, this is brilliant. And so she climbs up to the top and she disappears, like you don't know where she's gone, into this void or something. And then he gets killed. I can't remember how he gets killed actually. I think he gets strangled by the rope or something like that. And it's quite cool. Then you there's someone like outside towards the end of the segment, and they're playing the same tune, and you see through up into the hotel, the window where he is, and he's like being suspended by the rope. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did enjoy that one. Then the next one is the it's kind of quirky, jokey kind of one. It's like some filmed funny bits. It's Bargain in Death. So you have Maitland and Alex. So there's these two guys, and through an insurance scam, so Maitland, faking his own death, does a really good job, gets buried, and it's Alex's job to go and dig him up before he runs out of air and suffocates. But of course Alex is going to double cross him. Well, in the same apartment where Maitland lives are these two trainee doctors, and just so happens that they need a cadaver. And yeah, that they hear, like, obviously the owner of the house, she finds the body of Maitland and screams, calls the police and that, and these two hear, so they know there's going to be a fresh corpse. So they make a deal with like the guy who like digs the graves, and so they go there to dig up the body after he's been buried. And obviously he's scratching, he jumps up, he's like like screams, and then they're like, their hair's flying up and everything. But then so they like scream and run away, but the grave digger, bong, bashes him. And when they're running, they scream. It just happens that Alex is driving on the road at that one point, and it crashes his car, and poof, it explodes and dies. So then they're in a daze. They go back to the graveyard, and then the gravedigger is like, I hope you don't mind, you've still got this guy, but he's got his head bashed in a little bit. So that's the end of Maitland and Alex. And then there's the last one. Oh, he's drawn and quartered, and this one is Tom Baker. He's like I think he's one of the Doctor Who's from like a long time. I don't really know Doctor Who, but one of the ones from many years ago. But anyway, he's in Haiti. He's this artist, and he thinks he's not a very good artist. But then he has a friend with him. He's saying, no, your paintings are selling for thousands. And he realises the art dealer has been ripping him off. So he makes a deal, and he gets some voodoo black magic, and so he wants to take revenge on the art dealer and the two accomplices like with him. So he realises that whatever he draws happens. Like he draws this bread, and it's got like a corner missing, so he puts the bread, Fred draws it from the floor, but takes he like rubs the corner out. So it's a slice of bread. He rubs the corner off, and then a rat comes through and eats that corner off. He's like, oh, and then he scratches, paints a scratch on his face, and then he falls over in the night, breaks a vase, and obviously got a cut on his face. So then he goes back to London to seek revenge on these two. But it's kind of like a Dorian Gray sort of thing, like with the picture. Kind of, it's not that he looks at it in ages, but he has to look after this picture, otherwise if he doesn't, he dies. Obviously it's his painting. So he paints the other three guys. Like the one he like rubs the hands off, and he's doing some guillotine work, this guy, and has his hands sliced off in a guillotine. Oh God, what happens to the second one? Completely forgotten what happened to the second one. I apologise about that. And the third guy, he's completely gone. The third guy, he just draws a dot on his head, a red dot. And then when he's in the office, he's doing all this in front of him. And then the last guy, he pulls the gun on himself, shoots himself in the head. But then he's starting to kind of choke. So he runs back, he's panicking because he locked himself in a safe. But it's airtight, so it's for some reason the picture needs to breathe, and obviously he's done it. But then he realises he's left his watch, so he's left the picture out, and then he goes back to get his watch. But then there's some work being done like up above, and the workers smash through his apartment, and all this paint thinner runs all over his face, so it melts, and he gets basically run over, his head gets squashed under a bus or something like that. And those are our segments. Then at the end you realise that they're actually kind of dead, these guys, and this is their eternity, that they have to tell these stories over and over again, and they have to have this realisation that they're dead for all of eternity. And they look back, and the actual, what is the hotel, the apartment block with the bottom floor with the chairs and everything is actually just a mausoleum. So this resets, and they do this every night for eternity. Lovely stuff, following the kind of example from Tales of the Crypt there. But that's a run through of Vault of Horror. Really enjoy this stuff. It's a great Amicus anthology. I love all these anthologies from the 60s, 70s. I'm a big fan of anthologies anyway, but this is a classic one and a particular favourite. But that's the review. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you. Bye bye.